Welcome, Dr. Nitin here. We are going to learn 14 different calculations in pivot table and in Power BI. Both sample files are available. Download them and try them out. The data is same. We have 228 rows, 9 columns. In Excel, I have created a simple pivot table, category on rows, gender on columns, and totals. Power BI as well, we have a similar matrix visual. In Excel, when you right click in the data area or value area, you have show values as. We are going to learn all of them. In Power BI, when you click on the visual three dots, we have new visual calculation. So let's start with a simple one. These are columns. I want percentage of column total. So this should become 100, this should become 100, this also 100. And the contribution here, that's done very easily. I've already done it. How was this done? Show values as percentage of column total. Easy. This gives you contribution by category in each gender. Let's do the same thing in Power BI. This is exactly the same calculation. First time I'm going to build the formula and later on you will understand it easily. So this is our base matrix. I go to three dots. In rows, we have category, columns have gender, and values have amount. To add a visual calculation, just go to the visual top right, three dots, new visual calculation. These are shortcuts or ready to use formulas. We can use our own. So I'm going to go to custom. What I want is percentage of column total. Percentage. So what we want to do is for each value, this value, let's say 1224, I want to compare against the column total. So we have to do a division. The current value is amount, that's the field. So we just say amount. But divide by what? I want to do that total, column level total. So row by row, I don't want individual values. I want to collapse them. So collapse function. Collapse what? Of course, the same amount column. And collapse where? All the rows I want to collapse. That's called the axis. And the bracket for divide. And it's done. Now we go to back to report. You'll see it's still 0.5. It's not converted to percentage. So how do you format it? You go to the formatting pane. Another way to do that is right click anywhere and say format. Go to properties. Let me close the build pane so we have more space. Under properties, data format. Percent column total. Yes, it is decimal. Only thing we have to change is percentage. Two decimals are okay. So that's how we got percentage of column total. I've already done it here and also added conditional formatting. Just to show you how to add conditional formatting, again go to the visual formatting. Under this, it's better to do collapse all so you can quickly identify what you want. Go to cell elements. I want to apply it to percentage of column total. I've already enabled it, but I'll just show you how to customize. It's data bars. Minimum is 0, maximum is 1 because it's percentage. And that's about it. Now let's move on to the next calculation. Next is very similar. The only difference is percentage of row. Earlier, our columns were 100% total. Now our rows are 100% total. So what does this mean? In bills, 64% female. What does that mean? Out of all the bills, 64% came from females and 35 from males. So percentage of row total. How was it done? Very easy. Show values as percentage of row total. I have put the original value and the percentage together. Usually, it'll remove the original value and make it much more compact. And let's come back to Power BI and see the exact same thing. By now, you already know what I must have done in the formula. How do you go to the formula? Select the visual, go to the build section, close the format. Here, I have percent of row total. This pencil allows me to edit. This goes into edit mode. We already know all this. We have to do a division. Amount is amount. We want to collapse it, but this time at column level. That's all there is to it. And then format it as percentage. Let's move on to Percentage of grand total. What does that mean? Here, this is 100. Earlier, columns were 100. But I don't want that. I want only the grand total to be the basis. So now if I see bills 3.22%, what does that mean? Out of all the transactions, the contribution of bills by females is 3.22%. So again, if I remove sum of amount, it will become clearer. How do we do that in Power BI? Let's see. Same values have come. Click, go to the visual calculation, edit it. Divide amount by what? This time, I don't want to collapse by row or column, collapse all. And then it still wants a parameter, rows and columns. So when I say collapse all, it needs to be told, is it by row or by column? So I want to say both. That's why rows, columns. And that's how we got percentage of grand total. Now let's switch tracks and see percentage of parent. We still have category and gender, but I have put both of them in row area. So under each category, I have the breakdown of female and male. Now from a hierarchy point of view, category is the parent and gender is the child. Now if I put sum of amount, it's the same values. But if I say percent of column total, grand total will be 100. Now it's showing me the same thing broken down in percentage terms. This 5% is contribution of bills to the overall total. This 3.22% is the contribution of bills by females, again to 100%. The problem is very often people are tempted to compare, let's say, bills female, which is 3.22%, with entertainment female 9.19. That is not a good comparison because this 3.22 is out of 100. This 9 is also out of 100. They have nothing to do with entertainment versus bills. If you really want to compare, this plus this should become 100 and these two should also become 100. And that is exactly what we have done here. 64 plus 35 is 100 and 84 plus 15 is also 100. Now I can compare saying under bills, female contribution is 64% and under entertainment, it is 84%. How we got this? Instead of just percent of column total, we said percent of parent row total. So we are here. This is the child. Who is the parent? Bills. What is the row total? Whatever it is. Break this down and convert it to percentage. Let's see the same thing in Power BI. This is the same percentage of column total. So what is the calculation? Again, we have to do a division of amount divided by collapse amount by rows and one level up. That's how you say this third parameter is important. So N means go one level above. That's all there is to it. One level up means parent. But Excel gives you one more option. Look at what is happening here. These two are total 100, but this remains 5. That becomes a little confusing. So that's why we have one more option. It's the same thing. But here now, instead of 5 and 10.93, 10.34, all of them are becoming 100. So it becomes easier to understand the comparison. This is called percent of parent total. This is called percent of parent row total. In Power BI, what have we said? First, we have to check what is the level. If the level is gender, then do the earlier calculation. Otherwise, just put 1 because we want it as 100%. Simple if condition, and it gives us exactly what we want. Next, let's look at running totals, done for things which are in chronological order. So I have all the dates. This is the simple sum of amount. So what is running total? First one is the same. Second one is this plus this. This one is all this together. That's running total. Very easy to do. Show values as running total. And sometimes we want to know with respect to the grand total. So here the last value will match the grand total because it's a running total. I want to see somewhere midway how much of the grand total we had achieved. Here it's telling me 82%. So it's comparing this number and looking at the grand total and seeing the division. So this is done again show values as percentage running total in. And then it'll ask you, right now we have only one column date. If there were multiple items in the row area, it would ask you to select simple running total and running total converted to a percentage. So let's see how this is done in Power BI. We have a lot of dates. So to simplify and reduce the number of things we see in the matrix, I've filtered it on travel. If you see new visual calculation, there is a ready to use running sum. There's a function directly available called running sum. Just give amount and it's done. Now the next thing we want to do is calculate the percentage. That's a simple division. So divide running sum. And this we already know. How do you get the grand total? Collapse amount rows. So that's how we got the percentage. Next, let's understand difference from something. Most commonly, we have things like this. Jan, Feb, March. These are the amounts. Most common thing people want is compare Feb with Jan and think, did it increase or decrease? By how much percentage? Month on month growth or decline. It can be month, quarter, year, something on something. So how to do that in pivot table? Right now, I have just put amount column 4 times. First, I will keep as it is. Now here, I want to find the difference from previous. Show values as difference from. The base field is month, nothing to change there. But I don't want a particular month to be the basis. Open this drop down and say previous. You could also choose next. So now it did the comparison. So from Jan to Feb, it has increased. How much increase? 2453 is the increase. Now in Feb to March, 4740 has become 9096. How much increase? 4356. From March to April, it decreased by how much? 669. So like that, it is doing the calculation. Simple difference from previous. This is good. But now I want to think, if this increased by this much, assume this was 100%, by how much percent did it increase? So show values as percentage of what? Previous. The first value doesn't have any previous, so it's 100. Now you see this was 2200, became 47, 4700, so almost double. So it's telling me 207%. Now this values become bigger. Instead of that, I just want to look at the difference percentage wise. That means I want to look at this value, then I want to look at the difference and then convert it to a percentage. So that's called percent difference from. Again, from where? Previous value. So three variations of looking difference from previous. Mind you, our original data has not changed at all, but so many different aspects we can decipher and get more insights. Same concept here. Go to the visual, learn from the formulas. So first, difference from previous. It's very simple. Amount will give you the current value. There is a direct function called previous. You just do this minus that and gives you the mathematical subtracted value. The next one we want is percentage. So we already have difference from previous. We already have the current value. So here, what are we doing? Just a simple division, current amount and previous amount, and then format it as percentage. And difference from previous, again, we already have difference from previous and divided by the previous amount, convert it to percentage. Once you understand visual calculations, see how simple things are becoming. Mind you, visual calculations are not just available for matrix visual. They are supported in multiple different visuals, but because matrix is very similar to pivot table, for ease of understanding, I am doing this. The next one we'll look at is rank. So let's group this by month. So here I have the same month and amounts. I want to rank them. I have two options, largest to smallest. Means largest will become 1 based on the month. So that's what I have already put the conditional formatting earlier, or the bottom three are shown in green. If you want the lowest to be given number 1, then this is how it will look. Simple ranking capability. To do that in Power BI, rank highest we have to use the rank function. Dense, what does that mean? It decides if there is a tie, what to do. We'll not go into the details of this right now. You can see the syntax later. So we are going to manage this by rows and then order by amount in descending order. That's all. And it calculates the rank. If you want lowest, then just change the order by to ascending. Lastly, we'll cover a tricky topic called index. This is simple percentage of grand total. And this is index. How do I get it? Right click, show values as the last option index. So let me explain. So this looks weird because 1.2 plus 96, there's not matching. So how is this calculated? There's a formula for it. And this formula, the index function, automatically applies. Column totals will be 1, row totals will also be 1. So it's balanced. What is more important is once you have created the index, how do you interpret it and what is the practical benefit? If the value is 1, that means there is nothing significant, average. If the value is more than 1, that means there is a higher likelihood. So bills 1 and 96 almost same, so nothing. But look at entertainment. Females are more likely to spend on entertainment and males much less. Food is reverse. Males are spending more. Propensity is higher. So if you look at this, you can actually decide if I want to do a food related campaign, I should focus on the male segment more, and so on. So index does give you real, practical, actionable insights, but I have hardly seen any customer using it. So how do we do this? In Power BI, there's no direct function for it, but let's look at the custom formula for it. So this is the divide function. In this, what are we doing? Amount, which is the individual cell amount, we want to multiply it by grand total. We have already seen grand total is collapse all amount and rows and columns. And then you want to divide this whole thing by row total. How do you calculate row total? Collapse amount with the axis as rows multiplied by column totals. How do we do that? Collapse amount by column axis. And that's it. We got a nice index created from this. To summarize, we learn all these 14 things in Excel as well as Power BI. I have a deep dive course on pivot table, and I have another course where I show you how to learn Power BI with your existing Excel knowledge. So check out both these courses. As far as this video is concerned, if you found it useful, then like the video and subscribe to the channel to learn more and work smarter. So that's it for now. Thank you for watching till the end. See you soon in another video. Enjoy.